heads are rolling in the Tennessee Volunteers or a program right now, the football program. Heads are rolling. Of course, Jeremy Pruitt fired earlier on Tuesday. Fired with cause, meaning he isn't owed the money in his massive contract extension that the Volunteers just gave Jeremy Pruitt. And this all coming after an internal investigation found multiple Level 1 and Level 2 NCAA recruiting violations. The rumor being, and the report was, and I couldn't have helped but laugh at this. Apparently, University of Tennessee was putting money in McDonald's bags during on-campus recruiting. And I'm just sitting here saying, well, where was that Happy Meal? Like, I'm sitting here as an adult, like, saying, I would love that Happy Meal. Like, give me a burger, fries, and a stack, and a couple of stacks in my McDonald's bag. I would be a very happy adult. That's a happy adult meal right there from McDonald's. I don't know what I would do if I was a recruit, on an official visit to Tennessee, and they got me McDonald's, which apparently is the new thing for recruiting, or just, I remember President Trump inviting a team to the White House and all this McDonald's everywhere. I don't know if that was the Clemson Tigers when they won the national championship. I think it was. I guess Tennessee drew some inspiration from that and says, we're going to get these guys McDonald's and put a couple of stacks in their McDonald's Happy Meal bag. So I would be happy. But then again, that's absolutely crazy to me. So the school said in a statement it's also issued termination letters to assistant coaches Brian Niedermeyer, Shelton Fulton, 4 members of the on-campus football recruiting staff, the director and assistant director of football player personnel, and a football analyst and quality control coach. So I believe that's quick math. I'm not a math person. That's 9 coaches fired, including head coach Jeremy Pruitt, on Tuesday, due to an internal investigation by University of Tennessee finding multiple Level 1 and Level 2 recruiting violations by the football team. And I don't know where putting money in McDonald's bags qualifies on the scale that makes it either a Level 1 or Level 2, but that's just funny news to me. Justice always prevails. I think is the takeaway from this story, is that justice always prevails. And to sit here and act all superficial and act like things like this aren't happening in every major Division I college program across the country, I'm not that naive. I know that this stuff happens all the time. What really matters is if you get caught or not. And obviously, University of Tennessee got very sloppy. I was reading the article, and it mentioned University of Georgia as well, that they were getting kind of sloppy with their under-the-table recruiting habits. So maybe an investigation of University of Georgia is coming too. But every single major football program does this. If you don't think so, I've got some news for you. It happens in basketball all the time. Assume it happens everywhere else as well. It really matters on just whether you get caught or not, and Tennessee obviously got caught really badly here. The interesting thing is that Pruitt is actually fighting this, which for me, I don't know if that makes him look really, really guilty, because of the fact that he's not fighting against his termination. He's fighting against the fact that he's not getting paid with the termination. Again, University of Tennessee firing him with cause, meaning that he is not paid the massive amount of money that the University of Tennessee owes him, which, to Pruitt's point, kind of allows them to save a buttload of money for the next coach that they're going to hire. And, of course, Pruitt, I don't know if I already explicitly mentioned this, but Pruitt is suing the university, accusing the university of trying to disparage and destroy his character in an effort to keep paying Pruitt what the university owes him. Statement from the lawyers were saying essentially the fact that, they use this internal investigation to carry out a firing that would have happened multiple weeks ago anyway. Of course, the Tennessee Volunteers ending the season 3-7. I think Pruitt went 16-19 in a couple of seasons with the Tennessee Volunteers, so perhaps a firing might have been coming. He just got a contract extension. It's hard to really wrap my head around this because, and again, I don't know if Pruitt is doing this in response, and he's extremely guilty because Tennessee fired him under the pretenses that these level 1 and level 2 violations either happened directly because of Pruitt or they happened due to his negligence. So his argument is essentially that Tennessee would have fired him anyways, and they're using these investigations as a cause to not pay him. But again, then he later came out and he said, I'm extremely grateful for this university. I'm grateful for the fans, which is a bunch of PR BS. But it's like, if you're going to come out and say that, but also sue the university for the money that you think they owe you, which by all intents and purposes, it looks like they probably won't be paying that money. I don't know. It's like very conflicting stories. It's very hypocritical. And again, I'm not sure if that makes Jeremy Pruitt extremely guilty, which is actually kind of the side that I'm leaning on. I don't know if it makes him extremely guilty or if he's just trying to fight what he feels is owed to him. But again, the fact that he'll make a statement, which again, half of it is a lot of PR bullcrap about thank you for the fans, thank you for the university for this opportunity. I'll always remember the memories to coach all these wonderful players. But yeah, also I'm suing your butt. And I hope you know it, and I hope you give me the money that you owe me. It's like, it's such a weird attitude shift. It's very conflicting emotions here. And that kind of conflicting emotions means somebody's lying in some way. And right now my money is on Pruitt lying, about his involvement. Yeah, of course, he's saying that he doesn't really have any involvement and he didn't know this was happening. Yada, yada, yada. Interesting drama developing in I don't know exactly where University of Tennessee, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but drama is brewing in the University of Tennessee's football program. Very interesting to see how that develops. Again, 9 coaches fired due to these level 1 and level 2 recruiting violations. The funny thing to me is that you're going through all this trouble, and again, I said at the beginning of the segment that all programs do this. What matters is if you get caught or not. The funny thing to me is that they spend all this time, putting money into McDonald's bags reportedly, to probably doing some other things as well, and justice always prevails in the sense that they did all of this work, and the Tennessee Volunteers were still so bad in the SEC the last couple seasons. Going through all this effort, especially the one person that was actually named in the report was Mims, who is an offensive lineman who signed with University of Georgia. And you go through all this effort to recruit these players, and they end up going someplace else, and all you get is a NCAA investigation and a bunch of people fired. And it's just justice always prevails. I said that earlier in this segment. Justice always prevails, and I think that's what's coming to light here. It's extremely unfortunate for Pruitt if he actually didn't know that this was going on and he did get caught by surprise. But again, his response to the situation, and I'm no psychiatrist, I'm no analyst of the human mind and the decisions that they make, but based on his reactions and based on my life experience, he seems kind of guilty. That's just me. Very interesting to see how this develops over the next couple of days. Whether that lawsuit that Pruitt is filing against University of Tennessee actually goes anywhere. As of now, Brian Steele, I think his first name is Brian, but Steele, who was hired as the defensive coordinator, he was the former Auburn defensive coordinator. Steele is going to serve as the interim head coach at University of Tennessee. Obviously, they have a little bit of time to find a new head coach, but they would want to do that sooner rather than later. Lots of interesting drama coming out of University of Tennessee. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say, now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.